What's going on, people? On today's episode of the CBS Sports Social Media Podcast, rapper, songwriter, actor, film producer, director, running out of breath, and most importantly, BIG3 co-founder Ice Cube stops by for a chat. We discuss just about anything and everything, including his thoughts on the Raiders draft picks, his time celebrating with the Los Angeles Dodgers during their World Series and World Series celebrations, the city of Oakland. Most importantly, we preview Season 8 of the Big 3. Kemba Walker and Dwight Howard are among the new additions who will join an already stacked league that includes Joe Johnson, Jeff Teague, and Hall of Fame coaches like Gary Payton. Season 8 of the Big 3 returns June 14th on CBS. Big 3 co-founder, hip-hop icon Ice Cube. Welcome. First of all, thank you for taking the time to join us here. Big 3 Season 8. Can you believe that we're 8 seasons in to this company that you started 8 years ago?
Yeah, it's amazing. If we didn't have the COVID year, we'd be 9 seasons in. So it's just been everything I dreamed of and more. So many people love the Big 3. We do a lot, for them dog days of summer where, there's nothing really going on if you're a hoops fan. So, we're extremely happy to be at Season 8, which we think is going to be our best season. The competition is just going up. We've pared down since we're in cities. So we have 8 teams to spread this talent across, and it's going to be ferocious, man. It's going to be ferocious.
I want to dive a lot deeper on that because you mentioned there's cities this year. We got some new players this year, including Dwight Howard, Kemba Walker. I want to dive deeper on that. But first, what we like to do socially here, at least with the CBS Sports social team, is we like to get our interviewees kind of a little rapid fire to warm us up before we get into the nitty gritty. Are you down for a little rapid fire Q&A to get us started here?
Go for it.
All right, first question I got. Who's your favorite athlete as a kid?
As a kid, my favorite athlete, it changed, as I grew. I think it probably started Muhammad Ali, O.J. Simpson, Dr. J. Then he went to Magic and Tony Dorsett. It moved to Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson. These were, and then Jordan, of course, like he's up there with one of my favorite athletes ever.
This one might be a little bit more relevant, though. How about your favorite athlete as an adult?
My favorite athlete as an adult, I still go with Muhammad Ali. He just, far as, being real to himself, being true to himself, he's, to me, one of the cream of the crop superstar athletes that was still true to himself.
Favorite sports movie?
Wow, man. Favorite sports movie.
They can't be long shots either. You can't name your own movies. That doesn't count, man.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say shots. Wow, man. It's a lot of good ones. I guess I'm gonna have to say, I'm an All the Right Moves fan.
Okay.
That was to me a great story. I think it was Tom Cruise's second movie about Pittsburgh football team. So that to me was a great movie. But I like Draft Day. I think Draft Day is a great movie. A lot of people don't dig it. I like Moneyball. Moneyball was amazing. I'm gonna go back to the Fish That Saved Pittsburgh too, because that was one of my first favorite sports movies.
Couple more for you. Who is your GOAT basketball player? Could be women's or men's.
Greatest of all time as a basketball player. Um, I gotta say Michael Jordan. Gotta say Michael Jordan.
Who's your favorite rapper right now?
Ice Cube.
That's low-hanging fruit right there, baby.
That's the easy one.
Favorite road city to visit?
Wow. Favorite road city to visit. Um, so many cool ones out there. Um, wow. Guess I would say Miami. Miami's it's always a nice place to go.
Which BIG3 is going to Miami this year, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken, right?
definitely. Without a doubt. We got a squad out there. Miami got their own team called the 305. Mike Beasley, Mario Chalmers, Reggie Evans, and then we'll see who they pick up in the draft. But those dudes, they almost won the championship last year, so it's gonna be pretty cool to see them playing it in a city that they so familiar with.
That's a perfect segue. So, we got 8 cities this year:
Yeah,
Boston, Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, the DMV,
yeah.
aka Washington, D.C., Houston, LA, and Miami. What went into this new process of being more affiliated with cities? Was that kind of a new idea amongst you guys as owners to kind of make it appeal to more of a maybe a I don't know, a central geographic audience kind of thing? What went into that decision to make it city affiliate?
Well, when we started the league, we started off with 8 teams. Then we moved to 12 teams. And we really looked and said, well, if we're going to go to 16 teams to 20 teams, um, having a central owner like doesn't really work as you grow the league. It starts to become too much of a handful for, one owner to own 16 teams, so it just made more sense to be able to grow that we had to sell franchises. We had to plant ourselves in cities to really unlock a greater fan base. And, it's just the way to growth, in success, we had a feeling we would be here. And so here we are. We still hope, to go to 12 teams, 16, have, 20 cities interested in the BIG3 one day. So it's a change, but to us, it's a show of growth.
I got to ask, begs the question, what cities you looking for to grow elsewhere then if you have any on the list?
Oh man, I got a lot. We not in New York, we not in Philadelphia, Nashville, St. Louis, uh, you know, Seattle, Bay Area, you know, Arizona, New Mexico. It's like it's everywhere. It's still a lot of places. And London. We would love to go to Toronto. We think we have a league that could work in Mexico City. Um, so we feel like there's a lot of cool expansion that's out there for the BIG3.
And by Bay Area, do you mean Oakland specifically? I gotta
Well,
ask.
Bay Area, I got love for Oakland, but Frisco,
Yeah.
what I mean? I got love for, all those spots out there, Vallejo.
Have you watched any of obviously the A's have moved from Oakland to now temporarily in Sacramento. The Raiders obviously moved to Vegas, and the Warriors moved across the bay over to San Francisco. Have you watched any of that, kind of fallout between just the sports fandom in Oakland? I know the BIG3 made a trip to Oakland a year ago, which I was fortunate enough to attend and got to watch and hang out with you guys for a bit. But I was just curious on your thoughts of just sports in Oakland as a whole, and if you've seen any of these games taking place in Sacramento with the formerly known as the Oakland A's.
I haven't seen any game with the A's, but it's sad for Oakland. I think Oakland has been good to those franchises, and to see them kind of get up and leave, it's it's like sucking the life out of the city in a lot of ways. So it's extremely sad. What makes it extra sad is that the Raiders didn't come to LA because, if you're going to leave, come here. But, um,
You got two teams.
yeah, we don't need one of them. Chargers, y'all can have the Chargers. You could take them somewhere. But for the most part, it's pretty sad for Oakland.
All right, for our audience that may not watch the Big Three yet, or maybe they're starting to watch the Big Three, can you explain to them, like they're 5 years old, explain to them what the Bring the Fire rule is? Because it's one of my favorite aspects of the Big Three.
Bring the fire rule is a rule where a coach, not a player, but a coach, can challenge one foul per half, and a shooting foul. So, say the guy is going and shooting the ball, and foul's called by the ref. The coach could say, "Hey, I don't believe that was a foul. Bring the fire." So those two players involved in the foul have to go one-on-one. If he makes the shot, the foul stays and the bucket counts. If he misses the shot or turn the ball over, the foul comes off the board and the defense gets the ball.
It's kind of like Streetball, right? Like ball don't lie kind of thing.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, but professionalized.
Sure.
We took everything great about what people love about street ball and professionalized it, and it works with the game. It's a unique wrinkle. It comes into play. It's something that coaches keep in their back pocket for major moments or matchup that they think they can win. And it's become a pretty exciting part of the Big Three, and we're proud to have it.
One more question about the Big Three, and then I want to talk Raiders because I'm from
Yeah.
NorCal. I'm a Raider fan. This is a dream come true for me to talk Raiders with the one and only Ice Cube. But one more Big Three question before we move on. Uh, who's the best trash talker in the Big Three that you've seen in your 8 years at the helm?
Gary Payton, he's been the best. Um, yeah, but we've had some good ones. We've had Mike Taylor. Um, we've had Nate Robinson, Kenyon Martin. We've had some good ones. But I think Gary's won about 2 or 3 times already.
What's your best Gary Payton trash talking story? Do you have one?
Oh man, last year he got in Jordan Crawford's head, I believe.
Yeah, I remember seeing that clip.
Jordan Crawford had got hot. The bivouac looked like they were struggling, that they were about to give up the lead and lose the game, and Gary Payton ended up jawing at Jordan Crawford, and it was epic. They got face to face, chest to chest, bumped each other, in each other's face, and that's what the fans want. They want real competition, and they want passion, and they want people that's not, just playing for a check, but playing to win. And so it was awesome. We don't want nothing physical, but we do encourage some good trash talk.
All right, let's talk Raiders, baby. I know that we buried the lead on this one. This is what we really want to talk about, right? Um, First,
No, I'd rather talk big three, but we can talk a little Raiders.
fair enough. Fair enough. Ashton Jenty, first round pick. What do you think of taking him so high at number 6 overall? Diehard Raider fan. It's anytime you're taking a running back that high in the draft, it kind of begs that question of was it too high? But all the tools seem to be there. How do you feel about the pick?
And I don't know why the running back is so devalued nowadays in people's mind. Um, if you see a good running back, take him because he can help you immediately. And he takes a lot of pressure off the offense. Uh, and so if you find somebody good, why wait? I think the Raiders, need a lot of help on the defensive side of the ball because you're going against Patrick Mahomes. You're going against the Knicks kid who looks like he's going to be pretty good. You're going against the kid that played for the Chargers
Your Chargers, baby.
my chart got an arm like a cannon, and so you need some defense. But hey, I never mind taking a running back. I remember when the Raiders they didn't get Adrian Peterson and got Jamarcus Russell.
Yeah.
And, my guy Jeff Quan is just never lives that down because that was like a major, major mistake. And so, hey man, they got a lot to do, a lot of improvement to make. So I don't mind getting a running back.
Still have nightmares of when they drafted Darius Hayward-Bay over Michael Crabtree in the first round back in, what was that? 2013, 2014. I remember sitting on the couch holding a pillow and grasping it as tightly as I possibly could. And when I saw that pick instead of Crabtree, because I remember watching him at Texas Tech and loved him, and they took Darius Hayward-Bay, and I ended up throwing this pillow up against the screen because I was so ticked off, man. The worst.
Yeah, I don't even, draft day. I just hope for the best. I never even really get that crazy emotional. What I mean? I just really just hope for the best. I guess they know what they're doing. They know what they need.
Were you surprised that Shadur Sanders dropped all the way to the 5th round? I think a lot of people were. I don't think anybody expected him to be the 6th quarterback drafted. Did that surprise you at all?
Yeah, that was surprising. Um, but it could be a blessing in disguise in some way. And I think he could have went to a better squad. Dropping that low, you want to go to a squad that has shown some stability. But I think he can go there now and he can play loose. He don't have to worry about don't come at him with this bullshit that the franchise needs you and you're our savior and all that. You don't have to carry none of that. All you gotta do is ball out. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to go in there acting like nothing special. He don't have to go in there and do nothing special, but play quarterback good. You know what I'm saying? And win a starting job. So it takes a lot of pressure off him of not having probably a franchise that's struggling on your back, where you got to lift them to the promised land, and everybody looking for the great Deion Sanders' son to take him to the Super Bowl. So I think that's a blessing in disguise for him. Now, ball out, get a starting job, win some games, get to the playoffs, and anything can happen.
Speaking of the playoffs, you were a large part, if I may say, of the Dodgers celebration when they won the World Series. You coming
Yeah.
out in the convertible. I mean, how sick was that?
Oh man, that was like you can't even dream of this stuff, man. Like it was so next level, So I was so honored to be the one that the Dodgers chose. A lot of personalities in LA, but they chose the right one. So it's cool. It's just even doing the game two and everything that came from that. Then they asked me to come and relive it during the parade. And then, when it's time for the new season to come around, we get another call. And then this beautiful car that was like um put together years ago, and the car got its moment because it got all kind of Dodger um, you know, greats in the paint. And so, it's like it was just all around good day. For the man who wrote it was a good day. That was a damn good day.
Did you ever watch the video of Dave Roberts dancing with you while you were rapping during the celebration?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I thought he was like when I first turned around, I thought it was like a groundskeeper dude jumped on the stage and was just having too much fun. And I'm like, no, this is the skipper. So I'm like, whoa, man, get down, have fun, man, enjoy yourself. You win the World Series, he probably had a few. You know what I mean? He probably, had a couple, some champagne, two fists of champagne. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, come have a ball, man. So it was cool. And we win it this year, we do the same thing. You know what I mean?
It's looking pretty good so far this year, man. The team is stacked, absolutely stacked. I'll have to send you this clip later, but I don't know if you saw this. Alex Verdugo, who was an outfielder with the Yankees at the time, when you were performing before game two, obviously you're doing it to hype up the Dodgers crowd and just get that Dodger culture going. Verdugo in the Yankee dugout was just vibing to your music. I mean, he's supposed to be on the New York side of things, but my
Yeah.
guy was just getting down in the dugout. I'll have to send that clip over to you.
I mean, he having fun. He in the World Series at Dodger State. It was a feel good moment, man. Everybody was grooving. I mean, I'm pretty sure he didn't know I was gonna change some of the lyrics, but man, no problem, man. The Yankees can groove to it. No problem.
I got one more movie question before I let you go here, Q. Somewhat sports related, though. So, in the movie, Are We There Yet? You were, of course, the owner of a sports memorabilia store.
Mhm.
Was any of that sports memorabilia real or legit? And if so, did you get to keep any of it?
Uh, didn't get to keep nothing but the throwback Jim Brown jersey. But I believe some of it was real, but I don't know. In Hollywood, they so good at the set design, you just never know. They can make it look like you're on Mars. So I'm pretty sure they can fake a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar card. You know what I'm saying? So I have no idea.
What happened to the bobblehead?
Oh, bobblehead. I don't know. It was part of production. They had to do a lot of CGI on it, so it's probably I don't know. Probably got dismantled in some way, shape, or form in the process. We probably had about 20 of them. Yeah, I should have kept one.
Last question I have. I want to make it Big Three related because that's what this is all about. What are you most looking forward to? Season 8 of the Big Three returns about a month and a half from now. What are you most excited for?
To seeing how the cities um really embrace the competition. Will Detroit fans show up in Chicago? Will Chicago fans show up in Boston? Will DC fans show up in Detroit? Like what is going to be the real impact of being planted in cities and knowing that these are going to turn into rivalries and we're going to be there every year. Um, it's pretty cool. Can't wait to see it.
Do you have a favorite team or can you have a favorite team?
I don't have a favorite team. Uh, and no, I don't want a favorite team. They're all part of the family. And, it's really up to me to make sure that the league is moving in the right direction and the teams gonna do what they do. I wish them all luck. Happy for the ones that win, sad for the ones that lose.
Well, Cube, we can't thank you enough for taking the time with us. We can't thank you enough for the partnership that we at CBS has with the Big Three. What it started at 9 years ago to what it's become now here in 2025. I mean, you and your colleagues should be incredibly proud because, man, it is an amazing product. I'll be tuning in June 14th on CBS. Season 8 of the Big Three returns. So thank you so much, Q, for taking the time with us. And, man, I can't wait for this next season.
Appreciate it, man. We love being on CBS, best network, showing, and producing the best sports content. And so we happy to be here. We believe, a league like the Big Three deserves to be on a network like CBS. So I'll see you June 14th.
Deal. I'll hold you to it. All right, Cube. Thank you so much again. Go Raiders, baby.
Anytime, every time. Later.
Thank you all for stopping by for our one-on-one with Ice Cube, the one and only. Make sure you download and subscribe to the CBS Sports social media podcast so you don't miss a single thing. Have a great rest of your week. Adios.